Another one. Another one. got another one. Another one. Oh my god, another one. Another one. Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Hello guys, can you hear me? Sound check, sound check.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Sound good. Alright, hello guys, how are you doing tonight or this evening? Hope everyone is doing well. So, as you may know, if you don't know already, server was taken down earlier today, and we have been deploying a new server setup, and we are going through the test with the instanced Mirrorlands. And as soon as that is confirmed, we are pushing them live. And I'm following the progress so far, and it looks like we are getting quite close right now, actually. So, yeah, we're getting close, guys. So hopefully no more insane queue times for all of us. And that is obviously the big, important step right now. So we posted the update on the website as well, what it means, more details, and how it works. So there's a few special rules right now on the alt servers. So some of the rules or differences from the main one is that you can't build on the alt servers because, you know, we are working on the future step. We're working on the capacity at the same time and increasing those, but it's quite time consuming, the area we're working right now. So we needed a quick solution to get people into the game. So a few things are disabled on the alternate mainland servers, such as brokers and house building. And we will get back to that as soon as we can. We're also working on, we have identified some of the major areas that gave us cap limits on mainland at a certain range. And we are testing that through very extensive on our test servers before we will deploy those as well. So yeah, I just got word from Sebastian that we are quite close to push it live finally. And and hopefully we won't have those insane queue times anymore. Yeah, thank you guys for being here on today's stream. I will be trying to cover some questions as well. It's been a quite stressful few days, as you can imagine. Just, you know, as it's been for you as well. We feel the frustration when it comes to sitting in those queue lines, and we have been working very hard in solving and improving it as soon as we possibly can. And yeah, we're looking to be close to launch the Mirrorlands right now. So when you log in next time, you will be able to choose from the main server or 4 alternate Mirrorland servers. So we're spreading out the players, or you have the options to spread out and don't have to sit in the long queue times we've had so far. I'll see if I can cover some questions as well. And thank you for the subscription, guys. I saw there was a few ones before I started. It's highly appreciated, both from me and the team.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Another one. Indeed. All right, so there's a few questions running around. Let's see if I can slow down the chat to catch some of it. May I ask if each of the additional servers can hold the same number of people as the main servers? Yes, they're pretty much replicas in the server setup. Pretty much the same setup. The queue size for each server be visible before you pick a server? No, but when you do click on one of them, you will see the queue, and then you can decide to cancel or pick a new one. Thank you for the subscription or the gifts. 10 gifts. Thank you so much. So yes, you will be able to cancel if you think that it's a too long queue. You will be able to get a new one.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Another one. Is broke on house building and the only difference? So let me see. We wrote the differences on the website, the latest. Let's see where we have it. So all guild functions as well. You won't be able to start a guild or do guild functions on alternate. So there's a few areas that are simply not really prepared for this type of instances of Mirrorland, and that is why some of these functions are disabled, so we don't break your guilds when moving around, for instance. Any plans for improving the name pop-ups on range? We will revisit that area. It's a common question, both in terms of showing names and armor, right? And we fully understand that you want to identify someone as early as possible, so you can act accordingly, right? So it's something that we want to go back to and improve a little bit, because it's part of the network solution and a big optimization on how we can handle the different payloads, range, and etc. But there are cases, especially when you're moving over node lines, for instance, if you're close to those and you know, moving toward each other's, the worse the delay becomes when identifying someone. So we understand and know that it's not optimal, especially in those cases, and we have some ideas and plans how we can optimize or tune in that range a little bit. But right now, we're not gonna do it, you know, for obvious reasons, that we're gonna, you know, get on track on before we can go back to those areas. Will inviting a guild work on the alts? No, so all guild functions are only updated on the main server, the main Milland. So if you already have a guild with friends, you can move over to any of the Milland instances, play with them with the same guild functions, but you won't be able to kick someone or invite someone or declare wars or anything like that on an alt server. You have to do those commands on the main. So as I said, we still continue to work very hard on the optimization on the main Milland, so we can increase that capacity greatly. So the goals and hopes are that we can, hopefully remove some of these instances for now and get more players on the main. We're also working on the next continents, which is the real step that should be replacing a Milland instance or Milland additional continent. Your face is flushed, my guy. Drink some water. I don't think it's due to that. I may have a light here that is hitting me in a certain way.
God, another one. Another one.
We're getting sleep. I try to get some sleep. Obviously, this is a stress, right? And like I said before, my heart, hurts when obviously going through this. This has been a 16 years dream and project for me and the core team. So obviously, we're not relaxed when going through stuff like this, obviously, and it makes it more difficult to sleep. There's no way around that until we get things more under control. But we have things under control health-wise so far. AFK timer, yes. So we added our AFK timer as well. So all those that are simply not active will be disconnected from the servers as well. That should help removing some of those not active players, and we'll leave that queue to someone else. Will there be thievery added to the game? Yes, we will have thievery. We had it in the first game as well. There's a few things we want to change before we enable it in Immortal Line 2, and that is also why we don't have it yet. We can't just port it over, because there was a few things balance-wise that we knew that people, a lot of people loved thievery. It's an awesome player feature mechanics, but the balance reward function wasn't really optimal. And that is the part we want to rebuild at this time before we add it to the game. So it will come. So there's a few features that we have in the near time schedule, the near roadmap, that, as soon as we get, things under control with logging in and all that, we'll go through the next step of roadmap and all that, and share that with you as well to see what is in the near future and what are we focusing on. Obviously now being in a live environment, we're very careful about adding or rushing any content that are not 100% tested, balanced, especially if it's new, completely new areas. There's still some areas from the first game that we have a lot of data and experience from that we can use and utilize heavily, but now we're also entering new grounds that we didn't have in the first game. Look like you haven't slept in a week. Is it that bad, guys? Ah, shit. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I thought I was presentable.
Oh my God, another one. Another one.
I'm just gonna see if we have updates at the same time, guys.
Oh my God, another one. Another one.
I do have one little picture I want to show you guys as well in today's stream that I know some of you guys will enjoy.
Oh my god, another one.
And some of you guys may wonder, what the hell is that? The beer looks great today. Thank you very much. I haven't really managed to trim it much the latest days, but thank you.
Oh my god, another
What's the
one.
FK timer? I don't recall if it's 1 hour or 30 minutes, actually. I have to look into it, but somewhere around that. Thank you for the bits. I think you still need a huge overhaul on the Discord moderation. Romo was an amazing addition, but your Discord mods are children and leave a lot to be desired. Thank you for the bits I've been able to enjoy, though. I look forward to the future of the game. Yeah, thank you. I mean, obviously, we all have seen the influx of a lot of new players on Discord, and obviously that makes it a little bit more challenging moderating and keeping everything on track. But yeah, for sure, we're doing our best in making sure that it should be a civil place for people to enjoy their time there, and obviously we need to make sure that people stay within rules and are as civil as possible, or they don't belong in our Discord channel. Obviously, same as goes in our game. We are looking over all those areas now when things are rapidly growing and increasing with people.
Another one.
Can at least see the guild tags of your guildmates in alternate Mirlands. Yes. So as long as you are in a guild already and you move over to an alternate Mirland, you will be able to see your guildmates green. You can hit them without flagging, and you will see the guild tags. Yes. It's just all new options. Like I said, the system doesn't support the functions to be updated in real time on alternate Mirlands. Can you quickly reduce numbers of instances if they would be rather empty? Yeah, so we just need to do a patch pretty much to either shrink or increase additional Mirland instances. So yeah, it's quite manageable if we need to address that. When will domination work as intended? As soon as we can spare eyes on more gameplay content. Right now everything have been 100% focused on the servers capacity and login servers, and it we all understand that getting the game and getting past havens and then sitting in a very long queue is not really that's not fun. So obviously we have been 100% focusing in solving that first of everything, and then we will continue.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
So regarding refunds question, so I have we are in direct contact with Steam, and they've been very supportive throughout this journey and the beginning of the chaos that we have been going through. And they are talking to us in regards of what are the options and their policies and how we can be part of some decisions there. So it's not that simple that we get a ticket for a refund and then we can handle it. Everything goes through Valve. We don't have any payment information at all on our end, mainly because of security reasons. So we're still talking with Steam to get the clear picture, because right now we don't have any data of any requests from players. Only Steam get those. So we're talking about this with Steam currently. So we are a bit tight in what we can see and what we can do. That is why I'm talking directly to Steam to see how's the picture looking right now and what are our options. And will get back to us when it comes to that.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
I'm quite behind, guys, so please bear with me when I'm trying to catch some of the questions. Will there be a bounty function? Yes, but not right now. So we will try to make it very clear in the upcoming roadmap what are our main focus. You know, things that are need some improvement or pretty much need to be more finalized. And then what is the next steps? Which features are we looking at in the near time frame? So we need a little bit more time until we can have some breathing room and go through that schedule. Reminds me of Sean Murray from Hello Games, No Man's Sky. all right. Clear gift respec is one of those that are coming quite soon, yes. There will be an option to respec quite soon. There's a few options we're choosing from, but that means we will have them quite soon. Think no trade broker gonna hurt solution a lot. So yeah, clearly we need to go back to the old school trading as we did in the old days in Ultima Line. You know, manual trading, which is quite cool and interesting because that was actually one thing that I was missing a little bit when we implemented broker systems. Obviously, the broker system is a very robust system to help to promote trades and the player-driven economy. So I'm not saying that is wrong. But it was a very unique experience, standing there online, placing orders from sellers and crafts. It was a very cool gaming experience back in the days, but obviously it may be a little out of date today, right? But that will obviously be an option on alt servers for now, while we work on the next step, which means improving capacity on mainland, and we're looking over what are the steps we need to take in terms of guild functions, broker system and all that, preparing that for the real continent as well. So, you know, things will change. We will update you on that.
Another one.
Ida, please, it's been 7 hours, not a few. It's still a few hours, but yeah, it's getting a bit longer than we maybe all thinking. But the latest word I got from Sebastian, they have been testing it. They have confirming that those function that was bad have been fixed, and they go through everything in the live server setup to make sure that it's in working before we can enable everyone. So it's not a lot left for sure. And as soon as I get an update, I will let you know.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
We'll be able to play it today. Yes, like I said, so we're very close. That is the latest update I got. So yeah.
Oh my god, another one. Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Is it actually you saying, oh my god, another one? Yes, it is. One of my previous stress test streams we did months ago, I said that in the mic, and someone recorded it and made a little mix and sent it to me, and I put it in. And it's been there since. Back from quite close to very close. Indeed. The trailer screen UI, yeah, that needs to be fixed for sure.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
I mean, reputation is still quite important here, right? If you want to become a famous trader or smith, obviously doing one of those stunts may ruin that reputation forever.
Oh my god.
Another one.
We're planning to improve the combat system to be more like fluent, like for example Shiver or Mordhau. Buttons for each type of attack, one direction, blocking, counter, etc. We will add support for you so you can select directional attacks with keys, hotkeys. We got that request. It's been a growing request, and I see no reason not to add that support so everyone can choose the style you want to go for. And then guys, where the hell did that message go? Where the hell did I get those messages again? Is there a delay on the events? I don't know why I don't see all those messages in. Oh well. Sorry.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
Another one. Another one. Thank you very much. So server is being started again. We are confirming some of the functions. And as you know, it takes around 30 minutes to start them up. And as soon as it's started, I may have a further update. Finally, I can go troll hunting again. Yes, indeed. Hopefully that will be very soon.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
Another one. What are you, the CEO, going to do for player retention for this rough launch? So there's a few important things to consider, I think, and also something that a lot of people have been pointing out. So it's very clear that the release in terms of queue capacity have been quite horrible. There's no denying that. But for those that managed to get into the game and play the game, it's been very close to the feedback and response that we have had throughout the whole beta. Throughout the beta, up to the last date of beta, we reached 81% in ratings on Steam, which is very positive. People have had a lot of fun in the game, been loving the game, sending us huge amount of feedback and response on that. We have something that is quite unique, refreshing to play, and people have had a blast. That is obviously the most important thing, right? That the game is fun and interesting for a lot of players. Obviously, not getting into the mainland in a normal rates have obviously put people, made people upset and disappointed. That's no way around that. But our hopes is that as soon as people can finally get into the game again and play it and enjoy the game, our hopes are that people will judge the game rather than the login issues that we have struggled with, and that the game will talk for itself. And if people like the game and want to support the game and its future content and updates, then obviously we appreciate your support. Showing that review on Steam or leaving that feedback is something that we read. Everything based on the game and what people like or dislike is very important for us. And also points out what areas do we need to expand more on, what is most wanted from the player base, and so on. So obviously we hope that a lot of those that are upset with the launch will actually take the time to revisit the review and judge the game rather than login issue. We also know that throughout those first days we hit certain bottlenecks on the server that caused a lot of lag, and pretty much all new NA players from America that played it thought instantly because it's a Europe server, and also wrote that we need a NA server because it's completely unplayable. But the truth is that it was completely unplayable for everyone, including those living next to the server. So again, fortunate that is the first experience for a lot of players coming into Mortal 9. And we can only hope that those players will give it a new shot, try the game and experience the real game, and also see that NA players compete on the same level as European players. Some of the best players we have are from North America, and they don't have any issues whatsoever with latency. So, listen to those players that knows what I'm talking about and know how to play. And give an update on those ratings. And we appreciate it. And hopefully we will slowly go back to the real game judgment rather than a login judgment. That is our hope, at least. But that's obviously up to everyone out there, right? Shit, I need to change my bits. They're quite short, so I don't have the time to read them, and I don't know where I can read them afterwards. No taming skills. What do you mean? You have taming skills on alternate melons. Or I mean, if you're not a tamer. Yeah, if you're not a tamer, then you need to get the trade. All right, let's see. Will there be a penalty implemented for killing, attacking on our players' tames? Yes. So in this patch, there is an important flag change to pets. So if someone attacks my horse, for instance, he will get the criminal status, and I can defend my horse by attacking him. But if I fail and he actually kills me and my horse, or me, I will be able to place a murder count this time around, which you couldn't in previous patch. Can you comment on the health of your dev team? I can't imagine the stress, anxiety alongside how tired they must be from the hours they're pushing. Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone feel the pressure and stress because, again, we've been working for so many years for this, and it's just sad that the game are not really getting the attention or the judgment based on the game rather than the login, which obviously is the first step. So there's no doubt that we have had that big issue and had to go through it. For us, obviously, it's also been the frustration that, you know, coming from the outside and just seeing this, it's very easy to see that why did you release that? That was a failure, right? You should have postponed, or whatever reason. Very, very understandable reason, and we fully understand that view on it. But there's a few points from our end that have made it very much a big challenge. Being a small company without resources, we can't really push one button and we will have 100,000 players coming in at a very close time, testing our service, etc. So that have been very difficult for us to actually have a real test scenario to go through and make sure that we can handle that kind of volume. We did run 3 free stress tests where we actually invested money and marketed to this for everyone to help us stress the servers as much as we possibly can, because this will be vital for our real release. And we were super happy to see a huge interest in that support, and a lot of people join us and were experiencing the game for the first time ever. They were loving the game, giving a lot of good feedback. And we run into a very similar problem, just other type of bottlenecks. So we actually had to work day and night for almost a week, the first stress test, to solve those bottlenecks as soon as we possibly can, because we knew this is a unique opportunity where it's a real situation where we can work with real data, because we can only do so much with simulations, bots, and limited amount of players throughout the beta. So we knew and we expected, and we tried to be very open on that. On release, there will be chaos. I said it several times to try to make that as it's not going to be a surprise. Obviously, we couldn't know where exactly there will be different issues. That is what happens when you reach that insane level of population. So even though if we had postponed the release, we would have just postponed the exact same situation. So very challenging. One of the most challenging thing, I would say, in this project. And we can see that it's not only us, a small indie company, going through these challenges. Look at New World, a multi-billion company with all resources in the world, had very much similar challenges when they were releasing that lasted for days and weeks as well. So it is an extreme challenge. I would say that it's probably the most challenging thing in a game like this. So again, we have obviously done everything we can to make sure and use the time and use the real data and improving it as fast as we possibly can. And the deeper we went into the different bottlenecks, it became more and more clear that we know how we solve the big bottleneck, but we also know that this is a sensitive area where a lot of things could go wrong, and obviously we can't just throw in patch after patch with a high risk of breaking content. That is why we took the decision that we move towards the next continent system. We have half in place, and we used one of the Milan copies to solve the instant problem to let players in, and so we can avoid the long queue times, which have been the number one complaint, obviously. So hopefully that makes some sense, and also explain a little bit why we couldn't really have avoided this 100%. Sure, we can always say that when you have all the data, why didn't we do this or that? But I still think, we still have the situation where it's impossible to solve something if you don't have all the data for it. So yeah, hopefully that kind of sheds some light on that. Networking errors are the worst and most common for new MMOs, especially large open world MMOs. Yeah, it's not that we have picked an easier route in terms of having an open, huge world like Maryland. We made sure to pick the most challenging. Obviously not by just intention, but this has been our dream design for our MMORPG, and we're doing everything we can to stay true to that concept, because, you know, like I said many times, myself are a big fan of MMORPGs, and for me personally, there's nothing on the market today that interests me, which I think is very sad. There's many solid, polished theme park MMOs out there, but I'm not interested in playing almost any of those. And this is very different from those theme park MMOs. So obviously one of the challenges or concept is to stay true to that concept, that it is a open, true sandbox MMO that is quite different from most other MMOs. Lost Ark, that is pretty much on the complete other spectrum of the type of MMO, to me personally at least. Everyone have obviously different opinions, but yeah, I've been following all MMOs throughout the years and always had an excitement when it comes to seeing, okay, so what is this new MMO all about? And I always have some hope that hopefully this will be something different, or try to fill that experience that I've been missing on the market, that, you know, I think Mortal Online 2 is. I was Milan tested in the stress test. It was, and we got a lot of players showing up, but not close to what we had on the real release. Any inspiration from Ashland's called Dark Tide service? So I would say the main inspiration for Mortal Online comes from Ultima Online. I was a tester for that game back in '96, and I played it for 10 years straight when it released. I was hooked. And that was my first MMO experience. It's also the first client-based MMO on the market, period. So that's where my roots come from. And that was the best experience I ever had. Nothing got really close to it, I think. And what I think is awesome is that I got bombarded by new players and old players that's reaching out saying, wow, I never felt this experience since UO. And that's exactly what it is, right? So it feels real nice to hear that we're actually feeling that experience, because that's been one of the main goals. We want to offer something that is, you know, giving that kind of experience that UO gave. I also played Star Wars Galaxies when that released, which I thought was a really good game as well. I got a lot of joy from that game. So there's some inspiration from Star Wars Galaxies as well. Then I played all kind of MMOs, Dark Age of Camelot, Evil Line on and off over the years, Shadowbane a little bit. I tried quite a lot, but I never really got back to the excitement that I got from first Ultima Line and then quite a bit from Star Wars Galaxies. I've had fun in many of the other MMOs, but not really, never got to feel that magic feeling, you know, that's really hooked into something. And it's cool to see that so many players are showing up from nowhere. Even people are saying, I never heard of Mortal Online, what the hell is going on? And they get the instant UO feel on day one. And that is awesome to hear. It's an honorable response, I think, to hear. Did you ever play Darkfall Online? I tried it a bit. So when we released, working on Mortal Online 1, they were working with Darkfall. They were quite close to each other, right, when it comes to the release period. And I think that they had some things right that is, made it exciting for me as a UO player. But there were a few things that I wasn't really fond of. For instance, you grind up. Everyone was almost everything on the same character, and the style and IP, I didn't really like the style. Graphical and visuals may not be the most important thing, but I think it gives a lot of value, especially if you're going to invest many years in the game. And that is why we pushed the visuals very far in Mortal Online. We wanted to feel believable, look awesome, and not just go crazy on magic, having rainbow effects all over the screen. We want to make it have an impact when there should be an impact, and we want the player races to look awesome, so people really can go deep into their preferences. And all those areas I was completely missing from Darkfall. But yeah, there were some good things in it. Yeah, lovely game. I never knew it before. About 14 days ago. Can't wait for the queue is fixed. Yeah, that is obviously a quite common response lately, which is awesome to hear, of course, but obviously minus the queue struggle. Hey, Mr. CEO. It's third Dick you. Can you tell us about breeding animals, when we might see female animals, and when can we make them? Puke. Alright. Yeah, it was an awesome jump in your stream, right? I almost scared you when I did that. I was laughing quite a bit. I saw you get the shock when you were going at it. But it was fun. So about that breeding. So we had breeding in the first game, and it was quite deep and complex. There was a few things that we got a little wrong, and that was how it kind of competed, or almost, it competed too much with the breeding profession. So that's where we're going to take a step back and be careful, because taming and trading pets is an important part, a big role in Mortal Online, and will always be. So we want to make sure that we are giving proper room for breeding without killing tamer professions and trade. And also, breeding kind of made one horse to rule them all. So you breed the best horse, and that's it. There was almost no other options. Obviously, that was the negatives parts with our breeding in the first game that we want to refine this time around. So obviously, that should be a reward for finding a unique or strong horse out in the wild and use that, equal as you can breed more of that. If there's a shortage of horses or different animals, a breeder will be able to obviously multiply those in an efficient way, but also making them look a little bit unique and also refine some of the stats. So along with breeding, you will obviously see the females. We only have the males so far. That is a correct observation. Time frame for this, I can't say at this point. We have pretty much paused everything and just in almost panic mode and super stress levels been focusing on the servers and queues. As soon as this is under control, we will breathe a little bit, hopefully, and then we'll go through the roadmap. There's a few features that we have on the near time frame, and then after that is still a little bit unknown. So hopefully we will be able to have those meetings, I would say, before we can give better estimates and also start revealing our upcoming roadmaps. So I hope that kind of covers your question. I got a little note from Sebastian saying patch is going live.
I got another one.
So here it goes, guys. Here it goes. See, I'm behind again here. I'm gonna try to scroll down again, see where we're up to, so I'm not talking about two old questions here.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
Yeah, there's some wear and tear when you breed also, which means you can't just breed into infinity. They will be sick eventually and can't breed anymore. So there is some natural balance on that as well. Whereas the mage love? The mage loves will grow constantly along with 12 magic schools. So trust me, there will be a lot of magic love in Mortal 9. We just need a little bit more time until we start getting more schools.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
Okay, I will jump down, guys. I'm very behind, I see. It goes quick. Alright, let's see. So yeah, server is going up. So we have pushed the buttons. Now just waiting on the servers to be fully started and accept logging ins. We're going to add more animals bandits to kill in the latest patch. We will add more creatures and bandits. Yes. This one we haven't added anything specific. There's a few things added, but there will be more roaming mobs for sure. What about conflict between AFK timer and murder count timer? So we will actually change the murder count timer to work offline as well. It's not in this patch, it's one of our upcoming patches. So yes, we won't really promote standing AFK with any of those functions anymore. It's obviously counterproductive with holding spots in the game world, right? Is there some sort of penalty for killing horses? So the change in this patch is that if someone attacks your pet, he becomes a criminal towards you. You can defend your pet, you can attack him, and if he kills you, you will be able to place a murder count, which you wouldn't be able to pre-patch. So now you can defend to death and still place a murder count. Supported company since 2012. Just want to say thank you guys. I grew up with you. Korneshi, thank you very much. And awesome to hear long-term shareholders, I assume. Okay, I will jump down a little bit again. You're too quick, guys. Understand some people using macros. So macros, unattended macros are not allowed. So that is clear on when it comes to our rules. So that's something you need to consider, right? Obviously now even more importantly when there have been an extreme situation of capacity on the servers. Being AFK is not optimal. So we have the AFK timer that is disconnecting the players, and we have a rule against unattended macroing and also macroing with specific software that does crazy things. So, you know, we want you to consider, be very careful about what you're using along with Mortal Lions. You don't risk your account. And like I said, unattended macroing, there's consequence from our staff when it comes to that as well. If you're not present, responding, you may be looking at the disconnect as well.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
With TCP delayed until the auto content are ready. So it's actually two different areas. I would say that a lot of that's going to be worked on simultaneously. So there's no time frame where one eliminates the other one. And right now it's too early to have any estimates on where we're looking at time frame. Can you confirm if your beard is indeed fake or real? Maybe give a tag on it as proof. Of course. Why? I couldn't even imagine that people have fake beard. Is that a thing, guys? Because I heard this a few times, but I just laughed at it as a joke. I mean, I don't have I have a decent beard, but it's not 100%. You know, you can see that there's a little thin bits, a little bit on some parts, but I guess I was somewhat lucky getting a decent beard, especially for being a Swede. I think it's not as common. But yes, it is real. I can tag it. Is patch live on GeForce Now also? I don't know exact the procedure. They do get all the updates. It could be that there's a delay. I'm not 100% sure. I think that Sebastian would need to respond on that one for sure. But it will be on GeForce for sure. I just don't know if there's a certain delay or not.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
You mentioned the phrase shareholder. Are there investment opportunities? Right now, there are no specific investment opportunities. We have been following our plan as closely as possible, which is reaching the release date, and it's a public company, public trade. So there's no investment opportunity at this point. But you can still buy or sell shares in a company on the markets, depending on where you live. You can use a broker, or usually a bank or broker can help people with finding the share they want to buy or sell. Ooh, what guild were you in? I assume you played on Europe. I did start out on Chesapeake or Chesapeake or however you pronounce it. I started on that server because there were no Europe server when I started playing the game, and that was pure hell for many months. But back then people didn't complain on anything like that because it was groundbreaking and new, right? But for me it was even worse because I took 2 steps and then everything froze for like 5 seconds, and then I could take 2 more steps and then it froze. So it was, quite a horrible gaming experience, but because everything was so new and fresh and what you could do in game, it was still amazing. And then after a few weeks, months, they were improving that greatly, so I could finally start playing the game more real. And then I don't know if it was a few years later, they opened up the Europe servers and I jumped over because they didn't have any ping normalization or latency system whatsoever. So it was more dependent on your distance and ping, and also the internet back then using dial-up modems to an 8K, that wasn't good at all overseas. So yeah, I played in Europe, and I was playing with a guild called, what the hell were they called? Shadows of Clowns, or yeah, Shadows of Clowns, I think, SOC. And they were the best PvPer in the world. So back then I was a decent PvPer. How long do you plan to have instance of Milan? So the next step here, as soon as we see everything is on control, we will continue work on the main Milan capacity and deploy that when we feel that it's stable for a release of that patch. Depending on that capacity and that progress, we may actually remove some of these instances. And at the same time, we're also working on the next continent that will take the real spot of a second continent. So it's going to be a while still, and it's still too early to say when we may have that update ready to push it live. Can pets defend themselves if they get attacked in the future? Yes, we intend to add a few more options for pets, like if they're in a defensive stance, or so they can actually react if being attacked. So there will be some more options over time. I'm gonna red priest all them now. So as we stated many times in the beta, we added a red priest next to every blue city because of convenience in testing. But we also stated that, look, becoming red have a few steps and consequences. And obviously we also needed resurrection in the player hands, so they actually have fate over that. And they also need to be able to build their own base or something like that. So we did just as we said we would. We removed those red priests outside of all blue cities because they don't belong anymore. Now you can also learn Spiritism and resurrect yourself. And obviously we still have Kranish and Galkor as the red lawless cities with red priests. And we also have a few new red priests away from these blue cities that are fighting murders and taking a stance against it. So there are still some spread out options in this transition. There's also another very important thing that we are adding next, and that is actually zones of without any laws or even nation conflicts, which means just as an example, a huge area surrounding Galkor will be a lawless zone, which means you go there at your own risk, almost like zero sec even line. There's no report options or consequences whatsoever to fight and kill in those areas. And there will be some of these areas out in the wild in certain unlawful less areas. So that is also something that obviously players need to consider when going into this area. There may be violence without any consequences.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
Integrity Cannibal. What a hoodie. Will weight classes be added more in-depth ones? I remember you were talking about that a while ago. Kodu sucks. Joke. Love you guys. Weight class be added more in-depth ones. I'm not sure exactly what you refer to. Weight classes more in depth. There will be more, obviously, consequences to the new and different mounts you'll be using, just as we mentioned before. Different weights will have a more direct impact on all the different animals that can be mounted. But other than that, I'm not exactly sure what you refer to. You have to refresh my memory if I'm missing what you mean. Increasing manpower during this surge of work, get these major issues resolved more quickly. Are you bringing in any expert resources from outside, such as Epic, to help remove bottlenecks or possibly move to UF5 earlier? We have been expanding a little bit in very specific expertise areas. It's not something we can just click a button and we have like a whole new team effective running and helping us. There is a time process to first learn the network system. So there's two big parts of Mortal Online. One is the rendering, the engine rendering the game visuals, and that is obviously Unreal 4. The other part, which is equal big project and important for this type of game, is the network solution that we have been building on for several years. So it all depends on what era we're talking here, where bottlenecks can be improved or changed or fixed. It all depends on it's on a network side or in the game rendering side. There are a clear bottleneck in Unreal 4 right now, which you can experience as a level streaming area, and that is an exact line when you enter a city, for instance. You get this little hiccup or freeze, or when you go into a whole new area and we need to load that data and offload other data, that is another freeze or hiccup. And it's always on the same location when you move towards that area that you're going to load. And then you have a similar hiccup when you move out from it in a different range, doing the same thing, offloading and loading new data. We kind of hit the cap there. It's tricky to improve that much more in Unreal 4 due to the vast data and the huge world. Unreal 5 are looking to they have rebuilt this area for that reason as well. They know that the future of gaming needs to be open, huge world with a lot of data and details. So obviously we were building the same thing because we first thought that Unreal 5 would take much longer, but Epic Games have been ramping up their delivery of that engine. So we've been taking a look every now and then to see how ready it could be for Mortal Online 2. And right now we have decided that it is ready enough to move over quite soon. And yes, we will benefit from a few areas when it comes to that. But the first test we've done is that we can't just move over and think that everything runs perfect. It is obviously a task to take the step and make sure that we don't get worse performance in many areas. So that is one of the steps we need to spend some time into to make sure that we don't lose major performance or run into more severe bottlenecks. But there are for sure future promising feature that we will benefit from when it comes to Mortal Online 2 in Unreal 5. It's a nice beard. Am I that behind again, guys? How is it not gray? My beard, or what? I like your style. You're a good dude. Thank you. Full hair too. I have a good beard, but bold. Thank you, guys. I've been lucky with hair and beard, I guess, and I can't complain. But I've got some gray hair and gray beard. I don't know if it's visible here on my stream, but getting into age of 40, it's expected, right? Why did we remove red towns? We haven't removed red towns. Kranash and Galcor is still red towns, as they always will remain.
Oh my god, another one.
Man with great beard is humble about beard. Real Swedish Viking. Love you, dude. Guys, sometimes you're way too kind, but I appreciate it. We need your support, that's for sure, and we really appreciate your support, guys. I want to make that very clear. Patch is up, so bye. Is it up, guys? Is it live yet? Should be anytime. How does it look? I was very skeptical to play because I heard other games evoke the name of Ultima Online, but keep up the good work. Thank you, Robin Top, for buying one of our hoodies. I was skeptical to play because I heard other games invoke the name of Ultima Line, but I was absolutely not called for. This is the best thing, and even on par with Ultima Line. Cheap, but I appreciate that, and I agree. I've heard some games mentioning Ultima Line before, which obviously made me interested as well. Sadly, just to be not that happy with the results. So I appreciate hearing that a lot of you guys coming from that game feel that magic that Ultima Line gave us back then. That is an honor to hear as well for me personally. I mean, I come from the birth of Ultima Line, and it's always been close to my heart. And obviously, all these years, 16 years of hard work with Mortal Line, trying to be that true successor of a UO game, but obviously with our own style and take, and additions and improvement and expansions as well over time. Is the game playable yet? We are patching right now. I'm trying to see if it's actually live yet, but that should give you the instances, which means no more queue times in infinity time, queue times. Did you generate simulated stress test? It's not that hard to generate, at least login activity for 10k users. Yes, we have simulated, and we have used bots, and we have done a lot of crazy things, and we also done 3 real stress tests with real people and pushed that as far as possible could. And yes, a simulation and bots can only take us so far. There are always different situations how a client and a real case user on the other side of the world, how that is behaving. So yes, we did what we could with our resources, and reaching that next bottleneck was unavoidable, and we knew that we had to be on our toes, and that's why also we've been pretty much trying to kill it day and night, because we knew that there's no way around this really. We need to go through it, and rather than having more days in this dreadful queue, we took the decision to deploy the instances of Milan so we can at least play until we continue working on that. No Haven option launch. No. New character starts on Havens always. And after that you choose Milan instance. Are we live yet, guys? I haven't been able to look myself, but it should be up and running anytime, I think. And we got the patch note, right?
Oh my God.
Yes, we got a patch note. I guess you have read it already, guys. So there's a few good things or exciting things in this small patch note as well. For instance, you can now duel. It's been a highly awaited small little feature. So you can slash duel to another player, and you can safely duel without committing a crime. Will you ever show up in game? If so, that would be awesome to see the CEO of his own passion project ending up in the game at some point. Actually, throughout the whole beta, I've been in the game quite frequently and been enjoying my both game time, but also enjoying my time to actually communicate with our players. Just before the release, I was in Meduli Center, and I met a cool group of people, and it ended up growing more and more over a few hours. And I was just hanging out, talking with a lot of new people showing up, but also a few old timers. And it was a blast. We were all standing there talking in VoIP, in person, and it was a blast. I think there's a short clip of it online somewhere as well. When someone showed up and saw that I was in that group, and we were doing a little Q&A and just chilling. It was awesome. And yes, I intend to do more of that as soon as I can relax.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
When we see BIOS, very soon. There's very small step left to enable that. But as I mentioned before, everything gameplay-wise have been pretty much on pause through these server issues. And as soon as we can confirm, okay, now that is under control, we will go straight back to those game functions. Hello, Chat and Henrik. Hello, Azai. Can get stricter rules in the Discord. There are a ton of people spreading misinformation and trolling in general chat. For example, will be people claiming that Ultimate Land servers are PvE only. Yeah, we will see if we are understaffed with the increased population in Discord. I agree, it's been quite chaotic there lately, so me and the team haven't been too active in there due to just focusing on work. But I've seen some of it, so we will see if we can increase manpower or to improve that.
Oh my god.
Blast furnace is disabled temporarily. So this is a step forward that is kind of like a hybrid towards the real continent and, you know, a clone of Mirland because of the situation with the capacity and login issues. So we are going to continue working on the capacity and setting the right rules down the road. So for now, you know, first step is let everyone play so we can, you know, experience the game rather than a login queue. Why does it take so long to patch? So Steam have a certain way of how it's handled in patches, and our Unreal packages have one way of modifying files. This is something we have tried to improve greatly over the years of doing beta patches. So we know that there are still situations where it can feel quite long to deploy a patch. It's heavily dependent on your hard drive. If you use a mechanical drive or a M2 SSD drive, it's a day and night difference. But obviously we're not, you know, having a SSD as a requirement to get that part better. We have been looking into options we can do in our part to improve it, but we've been quite limited so far when it comes to how the packages from Unreal and how Steam handle patches. So yeah, it's something we still need to investigate to improve it. Or is this step 2 after people can actually play multiple Mirlands? So, like I mentioned, we are continue to work on increasing the capacity on main Mirland. The goal is that we should only have one Mirland and then additional continents. So as long as we increase the capacity of Mirland and we can get in more players and we see that we still have performance under control, that hopefully may lead us to shut down some of these Mirland instances. Depending on that whole picture, we're going to put a lot of we have a whole new batch that we're going to put on test servers that is a huge multi-threading system to offload the bottleneck we have identified on the main Mirland servers. So that is a big test we're going to go through, and it requires extensive testing to make sure that we don't mess up anything. So that is going to happening now very shortly, as soon as we just confirm that we can breathe and, you know, focus on the next step. So obviously it's not convenient, as you can understand, not to have brokers on the instances and the mail service and guild options. So depending on the process of the capacity on that, we're going to see what are those necessary steps needed and how does the time frame look to make this happen. STD drive. SSD. Sorry. Sorry guys. I slipped in a little extra T there. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Too many. Yeah. There's no Haven button on the menu. All new characters goes to Haven, and we have multiple Havens, so there shouldn't be any queues at all. After you leave Haven, that's when you can choose one of the Milan options. Or if you're already left Haven, now you have the instant option to choose one of the Milans, so you can avoid the long queue. Servers are still starting up, but should be soon. SSD, of course, of course. Of course. I'm running the game on an SSD, and if I was not, I would just reinstall and re-download the game to avoid patching. Yeah, it's crazy it's that long. We only have SSD drives now, and we never got to experience that extreme patching time. Obviously, it shouldn't be that bad. So, and we have done some investigation in trying to improve it, and we also tried a few things that was suggested that we could do, but we haven't seen a big difference so far, unfortunately. So I guess we simply need more time and data to see what we can do. How come there is no Haven? The Haven is automatically first time you start a character. You always start on Haven. And when you leave Haven, that's when you can choose one of the 4 Milans, or 5. There's 1 main and 4 additionals currently. We plan to release the game on Xbox or PlayStation. So the game is made for PC, right? There's the whole development in terms of how a PC works compared to a console. Porting a game like this is quite the task, both in terms of, again, performance, memory usage, all that. And the next thing is control, right? Keyboard, mouse is what we have in mind when we design everything for the best experience. So we haven't spent anything when it comes to porting to a console. It haven't been reasonable at all. So that is where we are right now. Thanks for dealing with this situation professionally. You guys are doing a great job. Thanks for the great game. Thank you for that. And yeah, we just try to do our best in handling this situation as best as we can and try to explain exactly what's going on and why we're doing this. Why don't you wipe the game? So the thing is, when we look at the data, we see a huge rotation of players throughout since launch with the insane queues. So it's not that one person or one guild have had certain treatment or you know, stuff like that. Obviously, the more you are, the more resources you may have as a group. But this is also why we haven't enabled all these big long-term features like TC, building a cities, etc. The first step had been housing and keeps. That is just one element out of 100. You know, maintaining a city and building big stuff, there's a huge content patch coming for that, which we call TC and sieging, etc. So looking at the data, there's only a huge penalty for the majority of players if we would wipe. There's no reason for us to see that, okay, all of this is broken, all of this is unbalanced, and here's a huge mistake, and everyone is negatively affected. Then maybe it would be a reason to wipe. But that is not the case. We can understand that people have different opinions and different views, and we fully respect that. But as long as we have a good picture of what have happened and what the status actually is, then it's easier for us to measure that with the real data to make a decision that is correct for the majority of the game and the game's features. And we also mentioned that as soon as we can breed, we will go through some of the data in game to make sure that everything is correct in the way we need it to be. Without going into too much detail of that, that is still a step to happen as soon as the login situation is under control. Server is up, but only Milan 3. No, server is not accepting connections yet, so you have to wait until the servers accept connections. So a few more minutes, I would guess. So when we start the service, it's around 30 minutes before it can accept players. And we're getting close to that now, I think. Any news on service? Did it crash when starting up? No. It takes a while for us to start all the servers and let them be ready to accept players. There's quite a few different steps on the servers that they have to go through before it can allow players. When we try window icons be fixed as soon as we can. What about crash protection? I thought it was being added this patch. No, since we deploy quite a lot of capacity this time around, it shouldn't be as severe of a problem. But we do have a grace system in place on test that we intend to deploy, but it haven't been 100% tested, so we don't want to risk adding something that could cause, more problems at this point. When will the subscription be introduced into the game? Right now, I don't know actually. This is the first important step to hopefully remove the dreadful queue situation. And as long as we can see that everything is working as intended now, and we don't have those queues anymore, we can start looking at the next step. So we will go through all that, and we will update everyone when we know exactly when and what. There's no button for Haven. No, it will handle it automatically. Just wait until the service is up. Depending on your Haven status, it will get to the right location before you can choose Mirland. Feed those hamsters faster. Indeed, indeed. Services, no. Shows the picture. Right, I forgot about it. Let me show you guys what I wanna show you. It's a little okay. So this is a guessing game, guys. Who gets it right first? What is this? What is this? What is it, guys? Bilbus. That's right. Valorant Bale. It's our highly anticipated Bilbus, finally. I got this question pretty much every stream. When will we get the Bilbus? And now it's time. We're getting the Bilbus. So this is our remodel of our old Belbus from the first game. It was quite a charismatic dog creature-like beast. And he's back. He's coming back. In a next generation visual upgrade, that is. It's cool. I like it. It's you know, that old Belbus, we needed to have him back, right? It's a cool dog. It's a big dog. It was harassing noobs outside Medulli for a long time in Mortal 1. And yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back. Can we tame it? Yes, you can. Elbus, I miss you. Yeah, it was a very unique looking dog that we made back in the old game. So, of course, we need him back. Any thoughts on adding a party system to share Clade XP? So we have noticed there's a few oddities in the Clade share. Keep up the good work. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the t-shirt, Mortal Line t-shirt. So there will be a little patch when it comes to the Clade share system, and also we have been working a little bit on we haven't been fully clear how we should handle it, but the healers, that obviously is an important part of the adventure group, but not getting any Clade XP is obviously a pain in the ass for the healers, right? So we intend to add a clever system to allow healers to also participate in XP, and there's going to be a little refinement in how XP is shared between people who damage a creature.
Oh my god, another one.
Oh my god, another one. Thank you for the subscription, the Hapex. Could you take note and have a look at the box surrounding houses, my friend? I crashed the other day adding something to a chest, put me in a 30 queue again. Yeah, that 30-hour queue will not happen again, hopefully never. So that is a big fix first. And as long as you get a crash report, be sure to write a description, because it's always very helpful for our coders, and then submit that bug report, because we go through those on a daily basis. If there's a crash that have been reported and sent in by you guys, we will be able to fix it in one of our upcoming patches. So that is something that is very important, and we appreciate you sending in those. Hopefully you got the chance to send that in, and one of my guys may already have been looked at it. What was that bits? I saw something with Arnold. Where the hell?
Oh my god.
Another one.
Another one. Where the hell does those messages go? I can't find them anymore. I don't know.
Oh my god,
I don't know how to
Another one.
check the messages afterwards. Can you please explain the Arnold Bass Hunter video from Mortal 1? I think about it often. So, Bass Hunter is an old friend of mine. Jonas is an artist, a really nice Swedish guy that I known for several years, pretty much since we started Mortal 1. And he was a huge fan of Mortal 9, and he played it a ton. And he put up like a farm of computers at his home and were playing Mortal 9 quite frequently. So yeah, he did some of those music videos and that Arnold video back then as a fun thing. So it was awesome. Shadows of Clowns in Europe. Ultima Line was the guild I was in. Some of the best PvPers on Europe. Bro, Bass Hunter, what? So good. Yeah, he's awesome, and I'm waiting on his return for Mortal 9 2 when things are stable. Okay, there's a little delay on the servers, guys. That is why it takes a little longer than normally. So just be patient and you will get access soon.
Another one.
The guy from Bass Hunter played Mortal 1. Yes, Bass Hunter, the music artist. An old friend of mine was playing Mortal 9 quite a lot. If my memory doesn't mistake me, he was playing in Koto, and then another guild, I think. And yeah, he also made a Mortal 9 song that a lot of people that didn't have a clue about what Mortal 9 was, and they all wonder, is this a sneak peek of his upcoming album? But his manager wasn't too happy because he spent too much time playing the game rather than making music. So he told him, you have to slow down the gaming and don't leak those cool new music songs because it's business, right? Where are the balls? They should be there behind the thigh. But did he get kicked by Anna? The bot. Sitta av vintern och spela lite Dota. Yes, indeed. It was cool. I think it was one of the most viewed YouTube videos in all time back then, which is quite impressive. Today is quite small compared to those big, most viewed ones, but back then I think it was one of the most viewed for a certain amount of time, so that was quite impressive. It was a hit. Belt and Anna. Are du skåning? Yes, I am. Both me and Bass Hunter, we are skåningar. There are stables across all Mirland. Yes, the stables will be just as your banks across the whole Mirland. Will be playing the game yourself? Yes, as soon as I can breathe, I want to play the dream game of my life, obviously. Or people are not left Haven having a hard time logging in right now. It's not accepting players yet, guys. Give us a little bit more time. It takes longer this time to start everything until it will accept players. So bear with us before it can accept players. It's the same for everyone. No one can log in until the servers are up, running, and accepting connections. Where is the next magic to go in? Necromancy is the third. It was the most voted school, so we let you decide the third one, which will be Necromancy. Are the servers still starting up? Yes, yes. Will there ever be faction like Chaos Order to allow other ways of PvP? Yes. So we will not have Chaos and Order, but something that is a little bit similar. So we have the nations, as you may have noticed, and you will be able to align towards these different nations in conflicts. So that means you may be able to participate in direct conflicts and wars. And so that means guilds and players will have the option to align towards those different conflicts, and that means there's an ever-going conflict that allows you to have war at all time. Do mages get a staff? With the magic school staff magic, that is your key component as a staff, mage staff. So that is two component in that school. One is how to build your staff and tie your magical powers to this staff and bound it to you. And then obviously you will learn the different magic spells and be able to cast those using the staff. So obviously you will also be able to use that staff as a melee weapon, but it's also your main component. You need it to cast staff magic spells. So it's a very cool magic school that we will put into the game quite early. It's a earlier magic school rather than a late pick. And also it's people been shown a huge interest in staff magic. Can I swap to each server from Haven? So when you leave Haven, it doesn't matter. You know, obviously you can choose the city, the starting city, right? But when you have made that choice, you will go back to the main menu, and that's where you choose what Maryland instance. So if you think the queue is too long on the main, you will be able to pick one of the other ones that should be, you know, let people in quite quickly. Remove global chat from the game. We have great VoIP. Remove auctions. Players can be brokers and auctioneers by themselves. What's the reason for global chats and auctions? So we don't intend to have a global chat at all time. Right now we have the help chat. There will be a grace period on that to help new players, and it will be restricted only to help chat, not a global chat. So that those rules will be applied very soon. The rules already is there when it comes to what you're allowed to use it for. So people just spamming the help chat or being rude or doing different types of discussion or trades, that is not the right reason, and that means our staff may hand out a warning, and if that goes oversteer, you may lose the rights to use the help chat. So the help chat should only be used for new players and those that want to help them responding to their questions. It's a very effective tool to help new players because the complexity of the game. Auction house. So initially we didn't have brokers in auction house. It was the old-fashioned Euro style trades, and we saw that there was a big need to modernize the trades and give better tools to players to promote player-driven economy in trades. And the auction house, the broker house, was the tool for that. There's a highly growing economy, player-driven economy, by the players using those tools. So we saw that there's a huge need for that, and it heavily promotes game trading. And it was a huge success since we enabled that in the first game. So we knew that is an important component compared to when we didn't have it. I mean, right now you get to experience how it is without it on the instances, and we will see what you think about that. A lot of people already, given the feedback that's gonna limit trades severely, which I think is true. Obviously, those tools are very effective, and not having them will limit some trades. So I think we will need them. So the red blue priest that I commented on earlier. So everything started with the beta, right? And to make testing efficient, we placed a red priest outside every blue city because we wanted to do efficient testing, including having red status, murder status, and the different standings. And we also didn't have resurrection on the players or player housing where you can store items personally. So that's why we placed those. Now we have personal housing, and you can resurrect as a player. So that means that obviously we want to stay true to our vision and what we stated when we started the project, which means there will be some red towns, outlaw towns and cities and zones, and obviously players will be able to build whatever they want to in upcoming content. And also we saw a huge influx of griefing new players outside every blue city, which is why we have red priest outside every blue city. So we did what was necessary, and that we said that we would do. We removed those from the blue cities. There are red priests in a few different locations in the world, and obviously we still have the red cities, Kranash and Galkor. And we will also add lawless zones in the world, almost like nullsec in Eve, which means you won't be able to report any player if you get killed there. You go there at your own risks, for instance. So there will be some additionals on that, where if you're a guild that are into conflicts and PvP and wars, if you don't want to declare war, then being in these lawless or nullsec areas in the world, you still don't have to consider any murder counts because you won't be able to place them if you are active in these areas. So there will be exciting content for those that love PvP and want to have war, and you can be in those areas of the world and go at that. And then those players that don't want to PvP and avoid it more, they may be more closer towards some of these blue cities that are more away from those zero sec or null sec areas, to explain it, if quite common, if you know what I mean, from Eve. Glade respec, you will have that soon in one of our upcoming patches. So there's a few things on upcoming patch that we seem to have everything, all that is on hold until we have the login situation under control. And that seems to be hopefully this step, which means we will be able to take that content patch very soon. Fabulous Joe with the donation, thank you, man. I keep staying tenacious in this tough climate. I still believe when will houses get chest. Sharing houses, yeah. Houses will have more options. So we're missing a few important options that we will add soon as well. For instance, friendship, co-ownership, and yes, access to chests. We know that is a very desired feature options. So it's even easier to live with friends and have different options there. So these are some of the upcoming quality of life options we will have. For release, I had more gore effects. Now after release, I can't cut legs, arms, etc. anymore. Do you know why? Yes, we had a client crash. We got a crash that was deep in Unreal's engine that just fucked up. And we couldn't solve it easily. We tried multiple times. And as you can understand, having a crash is one of the most critical bugs you can have in a game. You get kicked out and the end of it, and you may lose valuables. So we had to disable it for now. Very unfortunate, because I fully agree. The feeling of seeing a head fly or an arm fly in the battleground, obviously it's a cool factor to add to the violence and the effect and adrenaline rush. It just made awesome clips, right? So obviously we have a high goal to bring it back as soon as we can, but it cannot crash the clients, because as you can understand that, it will be much more severe. So as soon as we can fix that or have a solution for it, you will have it back. And I fully agree. I want that back as soon as possible. What about getting murder counts during a castle siege? So when it comes to castles and your cities, you are in control of the area there, depending on obviously if you're aligned towards a nation or not. So that means there will be option for a conflict without consequences, depending on your rules as a keep owner, especially. So there will be some options there that will handle that differently. That fatal error, you need to submit that, send that crash dump in if that is a crash report, so our coders can take a look. Yeah, reputation will be important if you don't know what you're trading for now. As we said also, the reputation matters and will go a very long important way. So obviously if you want to become a famous blacksmith and you're fooling your customers, your reputation is going to be ruined in one day. But if you see that this is a legit guy, he's trading what he's saying, the quality is there, you may become a famous trader and crafter, right? So for now, we need to be careful on the instances when it comes to trading. Reputation will matter. How will you be able to raise your standings with different nations? By doing tasks for the different nations, and you can already do that. So in every city there is a tavern with a task NPC, which allows you to do some simple task right now that will give you rewards and nation standings. There will be multiple types of tasks in the future. And then you will be able to, like I mentioned before, sign up to one of those different alignments and conflicts, which allows you to go even deeper towards those ranks. Yeah, the startup is slow, we know, but it's still on the progress. Give it some time, guys. We're getting there. Henrik, loving the game, can you tell us if the bank instance in the different Mirlands are shared? Yes. So the Mirland bank on the main in Tinram, for instance, will be the same bank storage in an instance Tinram. So you'll be able to access everything on the different Mirlands. Will you make archers stronger? They're kind of weak. What? Weak? What the hell is going on, SC314? You think our archer is weak? So the thing is, there's a few important functions that are missing on some of the skills that will be very important if you're going a full archery. Right now, there's not a big commitment, so many melee fighters can always afford it as an addition. There are some skills that aren't effective enough now. For instance, focus breathing component when you're aiming, stabilize your aim both on foot and on mount. That is because that is quite a huge project, believe it or not. We can't just make the crosshair wobble madly. It needs to make sense and follow some specific rules. And that will be added, which means if you want to stabilize that to rely more on your aiming skills, you may want to invest in those skills. So an insight of recent events, do you think moving to EU5 and building a stable server grid in a new engine should be a priority, with the possibility to get back to the original vision of 1 million for all, instead of putting dev time into rushing out new continents, which doesn't actually fix the problem and only works as a band-aid? Good luck to all of the team and stay strong. So Unreal 5 doesn't give anything when it comes to networking MMO solution. Unreal 5 doesn't support a MMO solution. It just doesn't. It's not built for that. That is like a equal project on its own to build a large-scale MMO solution. We have invested many years in our MMO solution, and it's already supporting Unreal 5, and that is, by intention. We built it because we wanted to move over to Unreal 5. Our technology and how we build things means that we should be able to scale pretty much into infinity. And this is where we hit a severe bottleneck where we can't utilize the different loads, which is a big issue for main Mirland continent. That severely hits the limits. And this is what we're working now on the side next to delivering these extra continents to let everyone play. We will go through this on test right now to work on that capacity, and as soon as that is progressing, we are deploying that, and we will let in more players and more players on the main continent until we're happy with the capacity on a size continent like Mirland. And the next step is to also deploy our next continent and hopefully replace all the Mirland instances with proper capacity and additional continents. And again, our plan has always been to start in a decent scale that support us to grow and continue work on the project, and then grow every month, every year have been a plan to grow, and along with that, obviously deploy more land as soon as we need to expand further. That have been a natural bottleneck to add additional continents to support more players. Now Chaos hit, and we got quite a lot of people instantly, which we could only have guessed. And now we need to take this side step to just make sure that everyone can log into the game and don't sit in ridiculous queue times. And then we'll continue from there. To generate simulated tests, stress tests, yes, we did. We have done simulations, we've used bots, and we have done 3 stress tests. We have invested marketing money to get people interested in participating in these free stress tests. And that was a huge success. We got a lot of players showing up, and that was extremely helpful because we could work with those initial bottlenecks that we hit. And that took around a week for us, working day and night to solve those situations. And since then, things have been rock solid, not getting close to any bottleneck whatsoever. And we did additional 2 stress tests to try to push it even further and see, are we ready? Can we push it further? And we didn't go beyond those insane numbers. And that's all we could do as a small company when it comes to preparing for madness connecting to the game. Yes, it's taking longer than usual to start the servers, guys. But it's running, so give it a moment. Tell us a little bit about the change to Necromancy from Model 1. So there's a few things. Obviously, we're going to remodel everything so it looks kick-ass when it comes to how you do the rituals to summon and build your undeads. So and that part, how you build them and summon them and control them, will change a little bit. That will be more exciting this time around, I think, personally. You will see the same spells. There are some very important spells. The life steal, the darkness, and important spells that affects pets severely. So it's a very, can be a very powerful counter to many creatures and pets also. And, a big thing, you can move at the same time as you're casting those necromancy spells. So it's a very interesting school that brings quite a few new things for the mage style.
Oh my god, another one.
Another one.
Thank you for the subscription. Quishang. House tables. Yes, you will be able to construct different type of houses with different types of services and also higher NPC services. As long as you pay the upkeep for that, you will have different types of services to choose from. Stable is one of them. Has team thought about making mages able to move while casting? Not for the schools we have right now, because those are the key rules for that, and which also makes them very balanced in the terms of burst and effect they do. But like I mentioned, other schools will have completely different rules when it comes to moving or standing or not. So, like I said, Necromancy, for instance, you can cast while moving. Could you give some information about Spiritism and its direction? What are your views on its viability in relation to its difficulty to obtain critical spells to actually start using? I think it's in a good place. So we only have the start, right? We only have Ecumenical and Spiritism, two very important base schools for players to choose to learn. And they're both very important, especially now when we noticed that, which is a little sad, that people got used to use the priest quite as a basic frequent thing. Our vision have been that a group, should have a priest. If things goes wrong, you can resurrect him. And in war and different situation, having a player priest should be very effective and useful, and relying a little bit less on the priest out in the world that just stand there bringing players back. They're breaking that balance vision a little bit. So we're trying to move towards that more balanced realism we are aiming for. But obviously, to take the full step, we need some functions in place to better support it. Spiritism. So it's one of the, I would say, mid-common schools when it comes to learning and discovering, mastering it. There's a few groups, I would say, from common to uncommon to rare to very rare, something like that. And Spiritism is Spiritism is one of the common one, but the important one that we do have, which allows you to resurrect, which is one of the key components for everyone when it comes to bringing someone to life, just like I mentioned. I was thinking about symbolism one moment. I don't know why. I read Spiritism, but I thought symbolism. But yeah, Spiritism is the important school of resurrecting, and you can go to the other dimension that will also have more and more content over time. There are more PV content planned for Milan, or are you saying it for the new continent? There will be more PvE. There's a few more creatures that we're working on. This is one of them, Belbus. But there's a few more that will that we will add on Milan before it's fully done in terms of creature and fauna. There's a queue for Haven. There should barely be a queue for Haven. If not everyone got into the same one, that is, which shouldn't be the case, I hope. Yep, in queue, Haven queue. So I hope everyone aren't going into one of the havens now. That will be a little unfortunate if that is the case. Several looking on things here. But servers are up, it seems. Right? Yeah, the queue haven't started yet, I think. It takes a little while as well until the queue starts moving people around. So if everyone is still in the queue, give it a few more minutes before it starts throwing in more people from the queue. See, doesn't know if server up. Only the CI has the info. Come on, Falker. Come on. Because I'm CEO, I can't have eyes and knowledge everywhere simultaneously, right? I'm trying to multitask, and I do that a lot. But I don't. It's not that I'm sitting in front of the servers or logging into the server interface when my coders are logged in and working on them. So, and I can't ask our coders every minute, "Are we up yet? Are we up yet?" You know, like a kid in the backseat.
Oh my God,
I'm trying to be professional here, right? And doing the best I can to give you updates with information I can get while I stream. So I hope that makes sense. Don't take the bait. No, I shouldn't. I guess my energy have been depleted after these 2 weeks of insane work. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, it looks like Q have started at least, right? So now we have five Milan instances. And yeah, remember that bug when you initially enter, where you get a number which isn't the real number until the queue have updated and start pushing people in. So it can be quite disappointing, obviously, if it goes up in that state. And I see some of you guys are writing that right now as well. Yeah. Yes. How do you count? Indeed. How do you count? Yeah. That one will correct itself after a jump. Obviously, that is one of the things we want to fix. But we have done work on that, but we don't want to risk having a worse functioning queue, because as soon as it's updated, it's quite reliable now. And we want to be very careful about doing changes without having extensive time to evaluate and test them. So it's an improvement rather than a step in the wrong directions. There's a type, you are in queue. Oh, okay. There's no where the hell? There's no option for Haven on the login screen. No, because it puts you on one of the multiple Havens we have when you log in for the first time or are on Haven. You log in on that one again. So that is automatically. When you leave Haven, that's when you can choose what Milan you want to play on. Best tip for new players depends on what kind of tips we're talking about, like starting race, profession, style. You know, it's a big open question. I mean, firstly, I would say that one of the most important thing is to read up on the clades, because you can't change the clade. When you have committed and created your character, you can't change clade, but you can change everything else over time in different ways. But your clade selection is most important, because that is kind of what gives you the tools for what you can do efficiently, or you know what kind of style you're looking for. All of the clades are very viable and have many different options, especially compared to the first game. So you can't really go wrong picking one of the clades. It's more comes down to style and personal preferences. And there's a lot of guides and options out there as well if you don't have a clue what to go for. So I guess that would be the first step, to read up a little bit on the clades and what kind of style they may be effective for. I mean, you can do any style for any clade, but there are some pros and cons, obviously. What's the FK timer? Should be 30 or 1 hour. I don't remember what it was set to, but yeah. What is filtering? That is the thievery professions that is not yet active. Well, that will allow you to play as a thief with the thief patch. Can you let the dead body longer life till they disappear, please? Yes, they will remain a little bit longer before they dissolves. Can you change age? Yeah, so there's some rare component that players can discover and put into alchemy, which allows you to change your size and age. So there's always a queue when everyone is logging in since the server started, because you can't throw in 1,000 players in one tick. Everything crashes then. So there's always a queue system to let players in over time. And obviously after restart, it means everyone is going, instantly, which forces a queue to put players into the game. That is unavoidable. There always need to be a queue. But obviously this is where we need to find a good flow, where it can accept the players in a good flow. And also, as we mentioned, we have 5 millions, which means people can choose to change if they see that one of them have way too long queue, or if it's full and there are a long queue that is barely moving, that's when it could be a natural option to pick one of the other millions. Will there be official community events in games? Yes, later. I think it's good design that players have to make the most important decision, pick and race without seeing the game. I mean, that is kind of how all games are, right? You really don't know if you're gonna like it first. You start one class, then maybe you didn't like it and you want to start another class. And it is one of those, exploration areas. Obviously, if you want to explore on your own, or if you are a person that really want to go for a meta specific direction, even though there are no real meta, it's quite wide, many different opinions and options. So I mean, it depends on the players want to explore on their own or seek knowledge and guides that is very available. Obviously, we want to do our best in terms of giving as much information as possible, but we also learned that people don't want to read a lot of things, and people don't read at all in games these days. So we can't just obviously add a lot of text. We need to have a certain way of information, and obviously the best information comes when you're playing or talking to guildmates or other players or veterans. So it's a tough one to completely give all information that is required, especially for a new player that can't even relate to what does this stat mean really for a player, and how does it come into play until you actually play the game for quite a while. So it's a tough one when it comes to how do we give information to a new player when creating their character for the first time, other than the obvious information that we already have stated along with the clade gift, so they can get some kind of idea what they can do on that clade. Is 250 2000 queue on all instances and main? Yeah, so like I said before, there's a difference between a queue when the server isn't full or a queue when it is full. It means if it's full and don't accept new players, someone needs to log out for you to log in, right? That means it's a very slow queue. Now the servers are not full yet because they're just started, and we can't allow 1,000 players to enter in one tick because everything crashes. No system allows that. A lot of data that needs to be loaded. So that means there's a constant flow of players getting into the game. So as we mentioned, there's some time to get into the game when thousands of players trying to log in the same second when the server just started. So there will always be a queue, and depending on that situation. But like I said, there's a lot of room on the servers right now, so it shouldn't. We're not looking at hours to get in. It's less than an hour to fill a server. Can you actually change everything but Clade GIFs? No, you will be able to change your Clade GIFs as well. There will be a service in one of our upcoming patches that allows you to unlearn the gifts so you can relearn them. So you will be able to change those quite soon as well. Why login so slow? It needs to handle a lot of character and data in a certain setup without killing different processes of the servers. So when the server just starts, there is a natural queue to let them in without killing the server steps. But it should speed up, and everyone should be able to get into the 5 million servers now, because we have less players online than we have capacity. So it all comes down to what million you're picking. We're in. Thank you, Fast Q. Great to hear. Great to hear. More and more people coming in finally. So that's good. So the estimated timer will update every tick and be more and more accurate over time. So there's a calculation for that. So give it a moment and it should be more and more accurate depending on time lapse. And plans to add an emote menu instead of manually typing in them. Yes, we're looking at some different options, like a radial menu that makes it very effective and quickly to interact, engage using emotes. We may also add back macros, as in you can create your own shortcuts, hotbar buttons that could be a command, for instance. So we want to expand on that to give more quality of life access to things like that. We'll be able to steal horses. So this has been quite the question over the years. So we believe that there's room for being able to successfully steal a horse, but not just going straight forward to a horse and you're standing next to it and you steal it right away. There needs to be certain rule sets and balance in that for it to work. For instance, if you're too far away from a horse or being killed and there's a certain time period where you're not close to your horse, for instance, that could be a possible option for allowing a specific type of steal to take that horse rather than just killing it, right? Which many do when it comes to different conflicts. So we will see. We need more time, and I think that is something we will evaluate when we actually work on the thievery function for the thievery patch. What are the plans for changing character cosmetic, tattoos, beard, hair, face, etc.? So that is a good question, and it's actually there's a huge feature around this. There's a reason why we only have a starting pack of clade tattoo options and nation tattoo options, and every clade comes with a set of hair and beard, etc. Because later we're going to enable a profession that is like a you can learn skills, and discover and learn different types of hairstyles, tattoos, different techniques that you can actually offer to players. So it's going to be a profession. So we only have a base pack now, everyone can choose from, but over time there will be more and more that the players will discover and be able to trade and offer to each others. And there will also be some requirements on some. For instance, nation tattoos. You have to meet their nation requirements to get some of those, for instance. And some may be old ancient recipes as rare loot that you can learn, and then you can offer those tattoos or hairstyles or beard styles. So there'll be a lot over time, and that's going to be exciting to see that progress, to give even more options to the players to look different. What about fancy clothes? There will be more clothes and armors as well, just as everything else in terms of weapons and armor pieces. We have a lot in the plans and design. We simply have to build it in 3D, which is the time-consuming process. But hopefully we will be able to hire more 3D artists so we can produce that in a greater scale. The New Haven village looks nice. Yeah, it's a good addition. We have been expanding a little bit, making it interesting, and also, again, a lot based on the feedback, how progression have been so far. What about next month's sub for the game? Will it give us compensation? Yeah, so we haven't started the included game time yet. We haven't started that time at all due to obvious server issues. So we will announce when we feel that, okay, now we're on track, everything is stable, we're happy with this. That's when we announce when we will start the free month for everyone. So that haven't started yet. So yeah, it looks like more and more people is coming in now, finally. So that is awesome to see. Does the free month start if you don't log in? So when we feel that we are ready, that's when we will... I have to talk to Sebastian if we can enable that function, that when you log in, that's when the free month starts. I need to confirm that with him, and obviously we need to confirm when do we think that we should start the free time. We'll make that clear. We will update that on the website and make sure everyone gets the information. Game is fixed, we can all play. Change your Steam review. No, but really, obviously we fully understand the frustration with this insane queue. It's been horrible, obviously, for all of us. We've done everything we can, and obviously we hope that now that you finally can get into the game and experience the game, obviously we appreciate and hope that you will consider changing your review if that is based on the horrible first queue experience we had so far. It's obviously highly appreciated. Me and the team would be very grateful if you would consider that, obviously. Of course, it hurts to see that going from 81% based on pure gaming experience, which was just awesome to see, because that shows what the game is all about, and why are some people talking so highly about this game. Obviously, it's not because the queue problems, it's because they've been playing quite a lot in the beta and having a blast and just seeing the game grow. So obviously we are hoping that people can play the game, judge the game, and give a valid game feedback rather than queue or server latency issues that we had when the server broke, when a lot of NA player tried it for the first time and thought it was because of NA servers, which obviously isn't the case. So yeah, hopefully we will get back on that rating over time. Yeah, the old school trading, like I said, you need to be careful now, and reputation is key here, right? One scam and your reputation may be ruined, and you can take note of that. So remember that your reputation is very important online. It's one character, and if you're closing all your doors, you may be in for hell. Of course, there will be those that try to prey on others in different ways, but be careful until we have a better way of window trading due to lack of brokers on the mainland instances. That's something to consider, of course. Thank you very much. Good job, guys. Thank you all for being with us on this quite rough start. But, we're seeing the light in the tunnel when it comes to actually getting into the game. And that is obviously most important. But yeah, we're getting there for sure. Another one. Galapvex. Thank you for the subscription. Appreciate you guys working so hard. I hope you give your code monkeys a few days off once these servers are running okay. Love you guys. Thank you. And yeah, for sure, it's it's been tough for all of us. And yes, it would be nice to be able to breathe a little bit and sleep 1 hour extra, and actually be able to sleep a little bit during the weekend as well. So yeah.
Oh my god, another one.
Hopefully this is that step towards that we can breathe. Will you be adding boats one day? Yes, we will have boats one day. That is something that we will see where it's reasonable to have in the roadmap in the future. It's not on the very near. There's quite a few things we need to cover first. But boats have been a very demanding and more popular feature. So we actually moved it closer and closer compared to many of our upcoming features. It's a cool feature. I'm very much looking forward to it myself as well. Being a pirate and sailing the seas. Gonna be cool. Game is awesome, and you guys just demonstrated you're awesome and really care about the community. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's like we said many times, the game and project is our baby, right? We've been working on so many years, and that only becomes complete with a community, right? The players that creates the history and being part of all this. So obviously you're as equally important for us as the project. It's all equal, and being independent and having all the responsibility and having limited resources, we get pushed to the extreme, but it's also, we are very passionate about creating this unique game. There's nothing like it, and we want to play this type of game. And we see that there's so many of you guys that have the same vision, which makes it just awesome for us to work even harder. So yeah, thanks so much for your support, guys, and also patience through the chaos that is pretty much unavoidable in our situation, being a small company, and just doing the best we can to deliver this as good as we can. The criminal system be worked on so it doesn't protect your groups, ganking, and griefs around your hometown. Yeah, so along with TC, there will be several options, and along with no lawless areas, there's a few things that we are adding to the criminal system, which means If there's a player or a guild that is constantly causing grief to you or your guild and your location, we are looking to add a system that keeps tracks of this, that eventually allows you to put those guilds or players on your kill on sight list, that actually allows you to do that in certain areas, to be able to protect your grounds and protect yourself against these kind of actions. So there are more work to be done the more we expand on TC and territories and on lawless zones as well, as I mentioned, kind of like nullsec, as Eve call it, where you can't there's no flag conflict or reports in those areas because there's no one keeping track of it. There's no nation that is active in those zones. When can we see it on furniture? It's on our to-do list. I can't say when exactly. One of our guys have that on his list. There's a few things that are before it due to a prioritized order, but it's coming. It's too early to say when. Hopefully that may be on the roadmap as well, so you can see where it's planned. Thank you, Henrik. Service looking good. I'm very glad to hear that so far. Obviously, it's constant stress and pressure that, hopefully everything is correct now. There's so many steps. Sebastian and I have been doing insane job setting this all up. It's been crazy. We should have been a team only on setting these up, but obviously it's not that easy just to throw in people on these very specific areas in the development. But this is something we're expanding on now, so more people can help. Also offload Sebastian, for instance, that are quite deep in these areas. So we are expanding on that. We're improving on that. And yeah. A small bump in road, indeed. Thank you for your hard work, Henrik. I wish you the best and support your game 2000%. Very, very happy to hear that. It's awesome, guys. You're really making a huge difference when it comes to this game project, and I would say the future of Sandbox, because we all know, coming from MMOs, looking over the years, how the market looks, right? What kind of games are there? What kind of games are being funded by the giants and all that? And we've seen the development direction, right? And if we want something that is not the normal, the clones of the safeguards, something that we are trying to make because we are passionate and we want to play this. Obviously, there needs to be some kind of support for it for us to be able to do it, right? It makes sense. If there's no interest in it, then it's not good enough. Then it doesn't deserve being on the market. And we have been highly devoted and strongly believe that there is a growing and big audience, big enough for making a successful sandbox MMO. And as long as we can grow and have your support, we will make this, hopefully the best sandbox MMO on the market. And hopefully that will also show the whole market that there can be more type of MMOs on the market that a lot of people may enjoy, and we will have even more options to choose from. So I have a very positive view for the future of both Mortal Online and hopefully sandboxes. Has the AI population been trimmed down? The zombies are very, very few and far between the Mila and Elves right now. No, we haven't reduced them at all, so they should be the same. We're looking to add more, both creatures and bandits roaming the lands in upcoming patches, where it's still a little bit too empty for our tastes. I wish the best for you and your team. Thank you. Henrik, thank you for giving us so much fun with Mortal 2. Thank you on my behalf and on behalf... Sorry, my text is skipping. What? Behalf of a good part of the Brazilian community. I follow Mortal 2 along with Fiberfly here at Twitch. Keep doing this great work. Never get discouraged. We count on you. A big hug from Brazil. Bad Boy BR TV. Thank you so much. It means a lot to hear that from all of you guys from all these different countries. It's awesome to see. And you guys that knows me already, you know that I'm quite the lurker on Twitch TV as well. I enjoy getting first-hand secret spy on you guys. Actually experience the game, and it gives a lot in many different ways. I enjoy relax and seeing what our players are doing and how they experience things at first hand, and obviously also I take the opportunity to see, was this a good thing or a bad experience in the different eras of the game world, and see how things can be even improved. And every now and then I jump in and say hello to you guys, or even scare you. But yeah, it's been very enjoyable for me personally to have that journey as well whenever there's time. Waited to give my review until today. I hate people that leave bad reviews for a hiccup. We all see the Amazon reviews for a good product that was like 1 star arrived late. Good product though. Cheap, but yeah, I mean that's you know human nature, right? We're all different and have all different opinions and views on things. And also there's so many that have no clue who are stalled, what the hell is Mortal Line, and you know it's also easy to compare that. Mortal Line, Star Vault is just like any other MMO. You require usually to be a very big, strong company that with heavy resources to build something like this, because it's quite a unique development that is quite different from any other game development. It's a huge challenge, and it took us many years to reach this point and have a game that is what Mortal Line 2 is today. Obviously, yes, the login issues, the capacity bottleneck hitting gave us hell. And obviously people coming from nowhere just being eager to jump into Mortal Line. It looks cool, I want to play it. I heard a lot of cool stuff about it. To then eventually get stuck in the queue. Patience is running out. And obviously they want to show their anger and show that they're upset and don't tolerate this. Cast a bad review. Full understandable, and it would be almost odd if it wouldn't happen. Obviously, at the same time, I hope that the majority will have the will and energy and interest to actually revisit, because it is that game that the majority is talking about. It offers something really cool and unique, and you get to experience that at first hand. Then you know if that is something for you or not. It won't be for all players, obviously, because it has very special rules and mechanics that is very different from most other MMOs. But that is also the beauty of it. We do offer something unique, and that unique experience is very cool and fresh, and offers something with very high, long value gameplay ability compared to many other games, I also think personally. So that is me and my team's highest hope, obviously, that people will revisit when we get things under control and judge the game rather than the hiccup, the login chaos. How does one check the instance you are in? You do have to keep track on what instance you pick on Milan on the login menu. One way to see it, obviously, if you don't remember, is go to a bank. If there's no broker NPC, you are on an instance. Same with broker stable and there's no housing. Those are the queues if you don't remember which one you are in. But yeah, if you want to tell your friend, I don't think you can see what number you are in if you don't remember. Maybe something we can add to, again, give some quality of life. Big thanks to you and Starwell team. We love you. Thank you, Tenora. We appreciate all of you being here. As I said, it's such an important component, and that is also why I'm here. I feel a very strong connection with you guys. It's it may sound crazy. I'm just sitting here talking, but it's the truth. The game is, like I said, our baby, and you guys complete the project. So I have a very strong connection with you, and that is also why I think that this is it's a meaningful session to have this once a week, as long as there's interest in it and it works. Dear Henrik, from a fellow UP player, Star Wars Galaxy Elder Bounty Hunter. Thank you. This is the game I have been waiting for, and the game I will have wanted to make for myself. Congratulations, you should be proud of you and your staff. I hope you take them to Hawaii. Where they can still work, of course, but on the beach. Cheers, my friend. Awesome to hear. GMC Mining. Star Wars Galaxies was a blast. Bounty hunting on Star Wars Galaxy was really cool, and that is something we are inspired in, and that we also want to add in Mortal Online. So there's quite a few components that you recognize there as well. Would consider adding different color crate banners as a temporary way to be able to determine teammates versus enemies. We will add a dying tube mechanics as soon as we can, which allows you to pick any color you want on those cloths and banners. Even make very specific, unique, different types of colors depending on your color extractor skills and research. So there's a few different features that's quite small, but there's quickly many of them, right? So we want to go through them and see, and we may need your help. Like, which one do we want first out of these ones, for instance? And you may be able to, affect which one goes before another one. So the Galaxy's Vets uniting on Mortal Online 2. Awesome to hear. Yeah, it was a good game. I played that quite a lot as well when it released. Up till they made us the change with, everyone was running around as Jedis. Obviously that was a bad call and things went downhill from there. The time and era was, the Darth Vader era, which obviously means there shouldn't be many Jedis and it was quite an epic journey to release our force sensitive slot. I was one of the lucky ones to have 1 out of 3 slots, I think, on one of the servers, and it just blew my mind. That's why I love that game so much, and I was always on the hunt by bounty hunters, so it gave so much excitement for so many players around us, guild members, bounty hunters, and obviously playing as a Jedi felt very special when there were so few. As I said, very inspired by that system. That gave me a very unique experience forever, and we will have something very similar in Mortal Line 2 over time. So it made you finally decide to open up multiple instances and put your vision to the side temporarily. Just curious to know your thought process, what was and what the straw was that broke the camel's back. So as I mentioned, our previous stress test, we had a hiccup for about a week until we managed to solve those major bottlenecks, and we saw, wow, now the performance is really good and we have a good population, action every day. We'll solve that major bump, right? And we knew that obviously there's always another one. And we could only simulate and test so much. And with the additional stress test, we didn't see big, major new bottlenecks. So we knew that they're going to be one. The question is, how far and how much to keep that queue going and have it somewhat under control. We went deeper and deeper in that hole and noticed that it led to a huge part that needs, in short, multi-threading support in a very specific way. And that is not a easy task to do. You don't just enable multi-threading and bam, it's working. There's so many things that can go wrong, and that requires extensive testing. So we knew that, okay, we actually done several huge optimization that completely removed certain bottlenecks of the server system. But the biggest one we are stuck on right now, that is what I mentioned. It involves multi-threading codes, which is complex parts, and we can't rush that out. So we knew that, okay, this is going to take longer than we anticipated. And, we don't want to hurt the player base, let them down in insane queues, and obviously people will get tired eventually and give up. It was incredible to see so many sticking in a queue trying to get into the game. So we discussed this to see that, okay, the next step, but further down the road, would be to add the Sauruka continent. And we knew that obviously all of that is not finished. There's a few parts that we also need to code. So we took the decision that, okay, let's clone Milland and make a quick, solid solution that we know that this allows us to handle this amount of players very quickly. So, it made sense for us to take that step, which means, okay, now when we get this in place, we make sure that everyone can log in and we utilize these servers and people can play the game and enjoy the game while we continue on working on that optimization that is the main bottleneck on Millands, and also seeing what, depending on the time, what is needed to refine the current setup to make it even more pleasant to play on, for instance, the broker system or stuff like that, if we need to have that sooner rather than later. So, yeah. Bad reviews are given with this bad launch. Don't fault those that gave bad reviews, as that was totally within the control of Star Wars team to limit sales to that they can deliver, which they didn't. The score should improve if the game does. Yeah, I agree. I'm not bashing or saying anything negative about those giving us a bad review because of the horrible queue. That is a legit reason, right? So that is, as it should be. The challenge was like I explained before, how for us, it's impossible to avoid it, but we need to have a quick solution, obviously, to prevent that from being worse and worse over time. And we did stop all marketing and any front page visibility. We did everything we could to not get in additional players. And we also talked to Steam, what should we do now? We are in this situation. I explained everything when it comes to login situation and all that. And obviously, we looked at the Steam reviews that were proving this. And they told us that we need to be very careful here. They have our back, as they said, very supportive through this, and said this is not the first time. They said that this is a common journey for new games and certain types of MMO games. And it wasn't just a call to full pause sales, but we did remove everything from the front page, which pretty much paused sales. But we aren't moved away from future events and being in the possibility to be in a marketing run again on Steam, which is very important for a game's future marketing. So we have been in a very close contact with Steam. They have been very supportive, helping us through this. They added this orange bar on the Steam front page that points out the services we have to make it as clear as possible. That's nothing we can add. They helped us to add that. And like I said, they said that we shouldn't just pause the sales. Let's do these adjustments, be open, transparent, and removed the marketing steps, which means there are less visibility and less sales. So that kind of almost paused along with that change. And I'm super happy that they have been so supportive and helping us through this. So I hope that makes sense. And yeah, as soon as we solve things, hopefully that will change over time. When it's coming to console, I'm not sure. It's a huge task to get Mortal to a console, I would say. So that is nothing in our current range. Did the main go down, but not the alts? Looks like there's a... Yep. Oh, damn. Yeah, Sebastian is on it. The main one didn't want to play anymore. Yeah, it seems to be only the main. Seb is checking. Hopefully we will get in there again. The necromancer still be able to raise skeleton zombies and mummies from the ground using spirit cast? Yes, but there will be some modifications. To change the instance, do you have to log out and wait 2 hours? Yes, from one instance to another, there's a 2-hour cooldown, and that is to prevent some obvious abuse. There are certain spawners that we need to protect. Can you talk about how awesome Robmo is? Yeah, it's I'm very happy to get him on board, getting the help there. Obviously, we have been looking for a community manager that can help us with communication and all that. So yeah, it's been a good start for sure, and I'm happy to see that. And looks like you guys have also seen that that's been a great beneficial for us all. Yes, mainland has some issues. Sebastian is checking. It will be up again, guys. Why could you hear VoIP from other instances? Yeah, so there's a ID for the different instances, and it could be that some of them are sharing right now, which means you hear them cross instance, which obviously lets you play as a ghost. That will be fixed shortly. We have it on the list. Get ready, Revis. Queues are not the big issue. Yeah, we read them, and pretty much everything is related to that. So one of the biggest is no NI servers, and it was based on when we have 2000 latency due to the login issues. And then pretty much the rest is Q online, which is, obvious, a proper complaint. If you remove all those, we have 81% based on the game experience, which is quite impressive for a game like Mortal Line. So we have been extremely happy with the ratings and feedback on Mortal Line 2 based on the game experience rather than the server issues. Other than this, Kyusha, I've been enjoying the game and have only been on Haven, so that is a good sign. Indeed. Haven I've been working solidly, but yeah, obviously it's just showing you a small portion of the whole game. So, but it's been a good ground for throughout the login mess. There's a 2-hour wait transfer from Haven to Milan. No. Only when you change from one Milan to another Milan, there's a 2-hour cooldown. Going from Haven to the menu, you can choose any of the 5 Milan continents, and obviously you can pick the one with none or lowest queue waiting time. That's up to you. Brain Dance with the cheer. Thank you. Or is these skills all primary? They're not all primary. There are some important primary parents for many of those skills. But yeah, that is one of the important part, right? To design your character, what will be your pros and cons, and you can't pick everything, you can't be everything, which is a big part of the game. You pick what you find most exciting, and then obviously you will trade and rely or combine forces with other players to get what you need that you may not provide yourself. That is also to promote player interaction and player trades. Or you can go more wide, but not less as deep. Rip the game apart in disc, but when I see how much you care on these streams, I feel bad. So I'm sorry. I hope for the best, and I know you're trying your best, Sheer. Brain dance, yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, like I said, trust me, there's no one getting more frustrated and getting the pain than me and the team when things doesn't go as planned. So we're on the same page. We want this to succeed flawlessly and without too many bumps and hiccups. We will get there 100%. We just need to be focused and hang in there throughout this initial chaos that we are in. Why have you chosen price to be expensive? On top of that, a planned monthly subscription afterwards. Would like to hear your thoughts. Dumarino. So a $39 game package with the month included isn't a high price compared to many other new releases. That is, similar type of investment in terms of size, the years. Obviously we have spent everything that is possible, spent quite a lot over the years. It is quite expensive to have a team working on something full time without having any profits, just building on a game. So that has always been a challenge. How do we afford building a very expensive game for many years without selling anything? That is one big component that is required to run the business. And the other part with subscription is a very important and good question. So yes, most of the games today are so-called free to play, which they are not in reality, obviously. To compete in any way, if you enjoy the game, you need to start investing money in different ways. Pay to win, pay to access new content, pay to level up, pay to get gear. There's so many ways, and it's an attractive business model for the companies. They are making huge money on that. So it's a good business model. Obviously, we evaluated that as well, but then it comes down to, okay, what kind of game do you want to make? And what kind of impact does that business model have in the gameplay? So when we wanted to build the best possible sandbox game with a pure gaming experience, without locked content, without pay to win or anything of that bullshit for our game, then it was quite clear, right? Having a set fee, the normal price, $14 just like EVE Online, Ultima Online, World of Warcraft, to run future updates, run the servers, have the staff, and give free expansion in the future without compromising game quality experience and locked content, pay to win and all that. And also, like I said many times before, if you are serious about the game and want to compete on a high level, you're paying much more than $14 a month on those so-called free-to-play games. So for us, it was very easy. If we want to make the best possible gaming experience, and that only, we don't want to sacrifice the business model into something else because, pay for cosmetics. Yeah, then again, we need to sacrifice crafting, tailoring, dye tubes, and Grandmaster professions, because that's exactly what the free-to-play model would have been. We'll throw out all that research, all that progression, all that discovery that is a huge part of Mortal Online, throw that all out, and everyone can buy it instead for real money to get that instantly. You see, that's a huge impact on the gaming experience. So it all comes down to what kind of game do we want to play, right? Obviously, we want to make sure, can we maintain this? Is it profitable so we can continue and grow and make the game even better in the future? That is obviously also important in a business point of view. But just looking at the game, and like I said, I'm coming from this game when the birth of MMORPGs. For me, it's a very different gaming experience. Lost Ark is a good example, you know, free to play pretty much. There's some starting package, and then to compete on a high level, you need to start investing quite heavily. And that's fine. You know, they have built the game to support that and be fun based on that. And that's the whole business model. Everything is designed towards that. But we are not designing that type of game. It's very different. It's a free open world, and the player gets rewarded for being creative, researching, and you know, being persistent in the game world rather than buy things or get access with real money. So, you know, consider that. I hope it makes sense why Mortal Online could be exciting now and in the future. So yeah, I hope it makes sense, and why it kind of respect the game experience and you guys. That's the thing. This business model respects you as a gamer more than a free-to-play model. That's the facts. So if you're a serious gamer and interested in this type of game, this will benefit you in the long run in quite a few different ways. So I hope that, you know, that is a clear picture, and you see why that could be. And that, obviously, everyone may not agree and think different, and that's perfectly fine. But I think that this is what can make Mortal Online the best sandbox MMO now and in the future. We tried a free-to-play model as well in the first game. What it brought us was a lot of bad gaming quality experience. A lot of players that didn't care about the game, wanted to grief and ruin things because it was free, you know. And though that was serious and liked the game, they didn't get much room left. So that is another reason as well. When you commit to a game and have to pay, there's a reputation. Usually you know what you're getting into, right? What kind of game you're paying for and investing your time in, and you will have better gaming experience as well, rather than a free-to-play game that, you know, people jump in and out for just for fun to ruin things or grieve things as long as it works. I thought about the family subscription like Netflix. Not really. We are looking to offer, you know, standard base pack like 1, 3, 6 month with discounts. If you want to commit longer, you know, want to play it. It can be a cheaper package to commit to that.
God,
so we're looking into that.
Another one.
Really enjoy the hardcore gaming in Mortal Kombat 2. It reminds me of the early days of EverQuest and how hard it was. I can't wait to be able to explore Mirland. Yeah, I mean, coming from those games, you already know what's going on, right? You recognize a lot, and you may feel at home instantly and have that what you enjoyed in those MMO games. So yeah, for sure. I'm looking to buy the game right now. Is it playable on its current state? How about the server queue and experience are welcome? So today we have been working on deploying the multiple Mirland servers, and we almost just now managed to get them live. We had one issue on the main server that Sebastian, my main coder, have attended a fix to, and it's running again. Other than that, the 4 new Milans are running. People are playing on them, and things are moving forward for sure. This means that, you know, those ridiculous queue times should be over. We are still monitoring everything because we just pushed this live, and it's been quite the task to get this going this fast. It wasn't planned to go this route at this point, but it was the best direction we picked. So with some caution still, until we feel that, all right, it's all running, it's all good now. And yeah, you know, as soon as everything is confirmed, that's also when we remove the orange note on Steam and get back on the first page. Yeah, I explained a few times. I see we're repeating the question now. I guess we're getting new people. Why we moved the red priests, a very important change, and what we're adding next. And the Clade reset will be in one of our upcoming quite soon. So it's on the way. Yes, this is this is not the tar dog. It's actually the Belbus. The good old Belbus from Mortal 1. And fix chest boxes and housekeeps as soon as we can. So first of all, getting servers fully under control, removing the queue, that's number 1. And then we will breathe a little bit and take a look on the next step. To change from one Milan to another Milan, there's a 2-hour cooldown, and that is because of the obvious abuse. Do you have new creatures in the pipeline, or are most of them from Mortal 1? We're bringing pretty much all from Mortal 1. Some of them are wrong and will have heavy modification, like the Tegmatons that we have made into their proper look this time around, as you may have seen. This is the Belbos that are also getting the updates. And then we have a few new ones that is coming as well. Okay, so you mean there's a 2-hour cooldown after leaving Haven? That shouldn't be correct. That shouldn't be the case. That doesn't make sense, I think. No, it should only be obviously when you change from one, log into one Milan, and then log out to change to another one. That's where it should be a cooldown. So obviously that is something. I don't know if that happened when the main went down for a reboot, the reboot that we had now, or if it's just wrong. Please consider removing head bobbing. I get motion sickness. Yes, we have got that feedback and we will make adjustment, but it's not a quick fix, so we need some time. Gustavo consider setting up affiliate system to let content creators get a small cut to drive sales once lag player cap is resolved. We will always evaluate what can help promote our game when it comes to content creators, streamers, etc. What can we do to support them and what they could do to support us? So, we're always open to see what could be done for sure. The main server should be accepting players again shortly, if it's not already. We will get a more to wiki page for us new players that want to learn more about the mechanics of the game. That is a good question. So we have noticed there's the community is growing and a lot of people are actually investing quite an effort in creating builds, guides and all that, which obviously is extremely helpful for new players. And that's awesome, and we are considering how can we promote that to get that information available in a easy way for new players as well. What can we provide and how can we support that? So it's awesome to see that is growing, and obviously players that have been playing for quite a lot knows the game very well as well and have solid guilds and guides. So we will see, how we may be able to support that and getting new players to obtain such information that can be reliable as well. Yeah, that doesn't sound correct. Sebastian, looking on that, that is a bug. You shouldn't have a 2-hour queue, a 2-hour cooldown when leaving Haven to enter Mirland. That is a bug, and will be fixed as soon as we can. So when will night vision be fixed? And you feel about the use of swear words in the naming? I don't know exactly when the night vision will be fixed. It's one of those that a little unfortunate why it's not in the game yet. The system is there, it's working. It's just that how we lit all dungeons in a way wasn't compatible with the night vision that we have set up for the world, being out in the world when it's day and night. And we changed the light quite drastically late in the beta because of different reasons based on feedback. When it's frustrating to play in different caves, when it's pitch black, where it don't have to be pitch black, and with the light sources available right now, a torch in one hand. So we changed the lighting, how we use that quite late. That kind of paused the setting we need to adjust on the night vision. And the main guy that are doing that work have also been busy because his schedule was then finish the face customization parts. So we didn't have in schedule to pause and revisit night vision. We had to finish the face customization in time. Now when that is finished and released, we will have time to go back and finish the night vision. So that is the reason why it's not active yet, but it will be as soon as we can. Swear words. Obviously we want to remove as much insulting crap as possible when it comes to names and such. We have a naming policy rule in place, as you may have read, and that is something we intend to enforce. So that means if you have named something against those rules, you have to change the name. There's rules tied to that. Obviously it's impossible to cover all words in the world with the different languages and so on, so that is something we have to just deal with on a daily basis, depending how that evolves. Obviously we want to make sure that people feel happy playing the game and not reading severe insults, things like that. So that's why we have a naming policy in place, so we can enforce those rules. Yes, the main server is coming back. And the thing was, we built a night vision system to support the future of all kind of darkness to pitch black where you can't gamma hack. As long as there's some brightness, you can crank up the gamma, which means you can see in darkness. So we decided that we need to make it in clear steps. Like, okay, now it's night, but it's bright enough. This dungeon is dark. It sets the correct mood, but it's bright enough to be a pleasant, convenient gameplay session. But there will also be distinct areas where it's pitch black. You need a light source to venture here to see, and you can't change that by changing your gamma. So there's certain stage that are dependent on gameplay and skills. Don't you think the game won't attract anyone new or a small group of new players because there's no extensive tutorial and the rest of the game you're thrown in with zero info? We have worked quite hard in creating the tutorial to explain the basics, how you fight, how you can start different professions, how you can start making money. That is like the start journey for most players, to learn those things. How death works, resurrecting, loot, and all that. And then one of the beauty of Mortal Line is that it's very deep and complex in many different areas, and you can go deeper and deeper in these areas depending on your interest and your direction of what you're interested in. And we want to offer that to the players. And we also don't want to at all time just hold hands and present everything and just make it like an arrow, click the explanation mark, the question marks, and fulfill the quests. We want to offer something unique that requires you to figure some things out and will be much more greatly rewarded when doing so. but also, allowing players to interact and share that knowledge however they want. There's so many players that are willing to explain and show new players and teach them, and that is also why we have the help chat, because we know there's so many different areas that we can't just make a tutorial that takes many hours, and people get tired because you may not be interested at all in crafting or something like that, or you're more into crafting than combat, for instance. So we just wanted to give like a good basic that there's quite a lot of different areas you can discover and go deep into Mortal Line during the tutorial. And then obviously it's up to you how much more do you want to go into the different areas. But yeah, we read all feedback in based of how could the first experience get improved, and the tutorial island, how can that be improved and expanded on to make it even better. It's been a constant improvement over the year. Yes, we know that VoIP is being heard over the instances. That will change soon. Mortal Line 2 equal New World? What? No, Smart TV. Mortal Line 2 is on the other spectrum that New World is on. That is madness. There is no similarities whatsoever. Very completely different games. We have full loot, full PvP. No PvP toggle in Mortal Line. That is obviously the biggest main difference, first of all. And when you're going to visit Mortal Line 2 streamers, we look forward to your presence in lives here in Brazil. Bad Boy BR TV. As soon as I have a spare moment and relaxing down and that, I enjoy your streamers. So it's been a lot lately. The latest day have been intense, so there haven't been much time for that, but hopefully very soon. We put pickpocket in. Yes, there will be thievery soon again. Not feasible easy to have character modes load when the player is rendered. There are some different states where we can put the different datas. We just need some time to go through that because it's also a big optimization part. How detailed will housing become? It will be expanded a lot over time. Not only different styles like clade styles, but also different upgrades and many different decoration and tools to choose from. Different types of material looks to choose from, interior and exteriors as well. And then we also have TC, which is completely new types of buildings with different services. So there will be a lot over time. And will other animals be mountable than horses, maybe bears, direwolf? Yes. We will go through all viable creatures that could be mountable. We have a system that is fully dynamic that allows anything to be mountable, including a player, which I showed in one of my streams some months ago. So it is prepared. We just need the manpower to animate all these different creatures that you can mount. And there's a requirement rule in terms of size and weight as well. Forced to move Viburnum and can't even bring books. So you can read all this on Haven, and obviously we need to prevent abuse when it comes to hauling valuables from Haven. It's very important to respect the player economy in the world, and Haven shouldn't bring value to the real world because Haven is not the real world. So that is why it's a limited value you can bring from Haven. You can invest everything on your character on Haven, but sooner or later you should leave Haven because it's just an introduction area, and it's important that you can't bring tons of different values to abuse that into Mirland, the mainland. So that is very important to have in place. Queue smoothing out. Great to hear that. There was one bump on the main servers, but along with that, hopefully things should be running smooth. When can we reroll cleared gifts? As soon as we can. So we just need to get past this first of all, and then finally we can go back to the game mechanics updates. Can I bring books from Haven? So there's the buy value of everything is what you can bring in a total of 3 gold from Haven. So it's not much value you can bring from Haven, and that is by very important attention.
Oh my god.
You can invest everything of that in your character as long as you're there, but when leaving you can only bring a value of 3 gold. Make a drastic change to break the balance of PvP. No, so what we explain with the Red Priest is that this is something we said at least 100 times throughout the beta, that look, remember, the Red Priest outside of every blue city is there temporarily and only because of beta testing, and because we don't have the ability to let players resurrect each other. So they don't even have the option. We have resurrection as an option, and also now you can have your own house if you need even more valuables. And we have the 2 main red cities that is always a constant baseline, and that is also the risk of consequences of becoming a murderer. But obviously all those big guilds, you have or you should have priests, spiritists. So I doubt that is a big issue for big groups. So it was important to move away the Red Priest from all blue cities, because what already happened throughout the release had been a insane griefing mechanic for new players being pushed out a little bit, a Taurus step towards how it was in the first game, where every new player that arrived in, for instance, Monkur, went out of the city to grind some walkers, and there was these red players just griefing them, killing them, repeating that, pushing them out of the game. That started to happen now as well outside every single blue city. Players griefing them, killing them, and just going back to Red Priest whenever they were pushed back, and then repeat without any consequences, and it didn't stop. We said that we would battle griefing as much as possible. We care about the game, and obviously pushing out new players from the game isn't good. We all need the players, right? We all want the players in Mortal Lion for us to grow and to be able to have greater PvP in the future. So this was very important to stop that directly, so we can keep players in the game. And the next step is, like we said, that we know that there's huge guilds that want nothing but war. Obviously, it's good if they declare war against each other, because you can keep having those wars without getting murder counts. Obviously, we don't want to have those wars declared because of various reasons. You need to consider the rules of resurrecting and where you can resurrect. And we're also adding the no-law zones spread out in the world. That also allows you to be there, fight there without any consequences of reporting. So that is some very important changes that are coming now in these patches. The FK timer should be 30 minutes or 1 hour. I don't actually remember if it was 30 or 1 hour. I think it's 30 minutes. Yeah. Holy cow, we're reaching 4 hours, guys. Getting a little tired here. And it looks like we are looping some of the questions, which means we have covered the most for this time. Keep going, you can do it. Yeah, I need to go through a few things as well before it's getting too late today. Yeah, there's some follow-up we need to do here. The VoIP leaking to instance, obviously. Shouldn't be like that, of course. So we need to follow up on that and some other minor things. But yeah. Yeah. The bug with Haven to Amilan shouldn't be a 2 hour, obviously. So those two for sure is on our fix list. But yeah, hopefully things will be a lot smoother from here on moving forward. Very important to get this under control and let people play the game. Then we will have breathing room to take the next important steps here. Thank you for taking the time that long in the stream. I was kind of thinking you guys ignoring the community somehow because I'm new to this and I got rushed by my negative impulses. But you talking today changed my mind. Thanks, keep up the good work. Bob and World, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that me and the team have been a little bit dislocated, or taking a short break at some time from the main Discord channel because it's been one main focus for us, quite stressful situation, and we know that obviously no matter what we say, people will be upset until the queues and those issues have been fixed. And also we got a new community manager that have been doing an awesome job trying to pass the information, the updates on a daily basis to everyone. But yeah, as soon as things goes a little bit back to more normal rates, we can breathe, go back to more normal work sessions, then I'm also looking forward to be a little bit more present in different areas. And yeah, every Thursday we have these streams, as long as you guys are interested in participating, and we will have different events, different tests, different discussions, and I may also invite some other people in the streams. We will keep doing those. So yeah, we appreciate you being here and being part of this journey towards building the most awesome sandbox MMORPG in all time. That is the goal and hopes, and I strongly believe we will get there. And all thanks to you guys. Thank you for your support. I'm gonna see, shall we do a little raid, guys? What do you say? We have quite a few streaming right now. People seems to be happy getting back and getting into the game. What do you say? Do we have a vote on a raid? So you can see someone being in game as well. Pizza Guy, should we do Pizza Guy today? Is he online? He is. Let's see. Pizza Guy, Stardaki, Raymond Lee. Alright, looks like Pizza Guy got most votes so far. I will pass it on to different ones next stream. Should we do Pizza Guy this time then, guys? Have high energy guys. Always a pleasure to watch him stream as well. And since my energy is going down, maybe you want a high energy guy. What do you say? Ice Prime. Yeah, Ice Prime is also a really cool guy. He's also streaming. Go for it. All right. Let's do pizza this time then, guys. Some high energy stream. Let's see. All right, guys. Again, real Giga Shad. Do you think I look like the Giga Shad? He was computer made, wasn't he? I think he was. What do you say, guys? Giga Shad is a real person. Shall we not do Pizza Guy today? Or what do you say, guys? I thought we was all in on pizza today. Getting a little hungry. All right, pizza this time, and then we'll pick someone else next time, guys. All right. Again, thank you so much for being here, and your support means the world to us. Remember that we're building this together, and yeah, I'm looking forward to catching you the next time. Have a good night, and hopefully no more queue bus to have to get past, and we'll move forward from here on. Have a good night, and I will throw you over to Pizza Guy then, and he can show his elite skills as the bulging mage. Always slow, but he's doing a good job. Always fun to watch him do his crazy stuff. All right, have a good night, and catch you soon again.